So your live events and retreats, what impact do these gatherings have on your participants? And that's what we've been talking about, right? But tell us about the magic then that happens during your live events and retreats. How do they foster connection and healing?
Well, the retreats are a little different than the live events because the retreats are just for the women themselves. And, we say,
Okay.
come in your pajamas. A lot of times women who are wearing wigs will just come, shaven heads like they are free to just be themselves. And we
Right.
really try to, like, it's silly. It's just like some silly girl time. You've probably never been in a girl sleepover with pajamas, but when I tell you,
No.
it's just really just a chance to have some fun and we do some serious, things also, but just to come away refreshed and to maybe not feel like a cancer patient, and not have all the responsibilities of the world for a couple days, children, husbands, work,
Right.
whatever. It's just a chance to get away. So that's what the retreat is. But the live events, what I've witnessed, this is what I love about the live events, is that in that room, we bring together once a year doctors, nurses, business owners, friends, family members, children under one roof to celebrate these ladies. And I've seen husbands coming up to me crying afterwards saying, thank you for giving me my wife back. Like, she's acting different. She wore leather pants. Like, I mean, I know I'm giving you
Mhm.
examples. I've had little tiny itty bitty kids who follow their mom on the stage all the way down and all the way back. And they go home and they get out their Barbies and they start making clothes and say, I want to create outfits that make these Barbies look as good as the ladies looked on stage. I mean, this is a true examples. I've had
Yeah.
doctors come up and cry and say, this woman has never smiled. She has come in head down, depressed, and she's literally standing 4 inches taller and so it is really beautiful because I think that is we don't know what to do a lot of times, but at that one night we do know what to do. We are there as
Yeah.
a community saying, we are cheering for you, we are here for you, you are going to make it, we're standing by you. And so it's like we're creating the atmosphere for people to come together and lift each other up. And it's that's the Capital One commercial that you mentioned.
Yes.
I
I
was
was going to ask about that.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. I was called by Capital One producer because I was Capital One customer, and they said, we read about you, and our production team wants to come out and film you. And it just was right
Mm.
before my big event. I'm like, well, would you like to come and film our event? And so they actually covered the
Timely.
event, and it was so weird. It's the first time I've ever been involved in a viral something because they posted it on their Capital One page and on Facebook. And one of the gals who was featured, one of our survivors, we were writing each other like, oh my goodness, did you see it's at 100,000 views? And then a little bit later,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, did you see it's 500,000? Oh my gosh, it's 1.7 million. It was very exciting. But they walked
Right.
away. The production team said, we cover a lot of events. And they said, we felt this love energy from the minute we parked in your parking lot. They said there was like this
Right.
energy throughout that room that was contagious. And that's what I think makes those live events so special. Beyond that, the ladies get to shine. Some of these are
Yeah.
introverts who
Yeah.
were like, at the beginning, like, hey, by the way, at the end, we're going to ask you to walk in this kind of runway experience. And most of them are like, I want to do everything but that. Some that extroverts are like, yeah, and I'm going to, and they're just like owning every moment. But there's enough of them that are like, that's the one thing that makes them really nervous.
Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
You've mentioned so many good things about the programs that you offer. Can you think of a patient that at the beginning was just in a bad state? And can you take us through, let us travel with you with this patient and how they recovered and came to a positive place in their mind
I
and in
have
their lives?
hundreds of stories,
Oh,
hundreds, but like one that comes to
yes.
mind, I'll focus on my sweet friend right before the event. She's very sick. Right before the event, she was hospitalized and devastated that she wasn't going to be able to do the event. And her doctor said, "There's no way that you're going to be able to do this." Her sorority sister, her Unite sisters, they kind of smuggled her out. I mean, she got out of the hospital and she was in the show in a wheelchair. I mean, eventually the doctor said,
Wow.
"Yeah, but we need to be very careful." So backstage, she was in a wheelchair and she had people looking out after her. But we rolled her on stage, and then she stood up, and she was like, we have a 90-foot long runway, so she walks, and she just got to the end, and she put her hand up, and thank God, and then walked back, and then literally almost collapsed in the chair. Like, she got this energy, and so that story sticks out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I am put on the spot a little bit because I'm trying to think of specific ones.
Yeah, I know. And in the show notes, I'm going to leave a link to your YouTube channel where, if the audience want to go back and look at some of those stories, they can get caught up. And perhaps we'll have a few of them come on this show to talk about their experiences.
Yeah, and one other one that I am remembering too is we had two of the two very involved ladies in our program got up to share what was going on in their lives. And, one is a mom of 5 children, and so next thing you know, running down the stage. We didn't ask them to get on stage. Yeah. They ran onto the stage, and they're there with their mom. I mean, there are just moments like that you don't plan. They're not scripted. So yes, on my YouTube channel, there are lots of different inspirational videos. There's entire shows if anybody ever wants to watch them, but then all the story, lots and lots of the stories featured, and it's
you actually have a TV channel, I noticed, where you can go back and watch an entire program right there on the...
Yeah, we created that channel so that people could go to a segment or watch continuously. They didn't have to watch all 36 hours of what we filmed. Right, it was quite an endeavor.
Yeah. How does one get involved as a patient? Is it that a doctor recommends, or do you work with a specific institution like a hospital? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so locally, which would mean the greater New Orleans area, we do have very good relationships with quite a few oncologists, doctors, hospitals. They know us because we've been around for 12 years. So if they have a patient who is struggling, the doctors or nurses will definitely say, "I think you should look into this program," because it's free to the ladies. And I think it helps those doctors do their job better. Some of those doctors who are our sponsors get to see their patient. They'll share the doctors will share the story that, "Hey, I can only do so much for my patient. I could do the surgeries, I could do the treatment, but I can't get inside." They don't have the time to be able to do that, to get inside their heart and their head. And so for us to take it the next step, like, we partner with them in the recovery and the health of their patients, where then it goes to the final celebration where the doctors can say, "Oh my God, like, physically, I helped that person get there. Emotionally, mentally, Unite helped them get there. And now look at the success story." Because that's all a doctor wants, is a success story, right? Doctors and hospitals want that. So that is one of the ways, is the doctors refer us. Quite a few come from us from former participants who have a friend that gets diagnosed, and so they will refer. Outside of this area, we do offer the SCART program, and then we also offer a full program.
Thanks for listening to Cultivating Health Equity Stories. Remember, our mission is to amplify voices, challenge norms, and inspire change. Go to cultivatehealthequity.com, sign up on our email list, subscribe for future episodes, and find the resources mentioned in the show notes. Until next time.